ShartimusPrime. Reading comics, toys are hella sick, hella whacking it. Taking bad hits, taking back hits. Subscribe.
And if you're not posing your figures, then what the hell are you doing? Hey, what's up you guys? ShartimusPrime here doing another Throwback Thursday figure review on the Marvel Studios 12-inch Collector's Edition 2003 Daredevil Ben Affleck figure. Gotta give a big thanks to Brian and Amanda for sending this figure my way. I really appreciate it, you guys. If you may or may not know, I am a huge Daredevil fan and not a big fan of this movie, but I love to watch it anyway. Ben Affleck is Daredevil. Anyway, very excited for the Charlie Cox version starting tomorrow. You get some images from the movie right there at the bottom, and on the back you can see the figure. You can see Ben Affleck. There's a read-up. If you want to read it, go ahead and pause it now. And then on the other side you see some more images right there. Anyway, let's get to it and crack this thing open. So here's Ben Affleck out of the packaging. And not a terrible 12-inch figure over here. I think it's alright. It's got some problems. Definitely not a fantastic figure. I think for the price point though, people got a lot for this thing. I think the articulation's okay. As you can see, that leg doesn't kick up as high as I want to. It's definitely more posable than Ben Affleck himself though. But he comes with some cool accessories. Let's take a closer look at those, and then we'll take a closer look at the Affleck. So the figure comes with 3 different accessories over here that are essentially the same accessory though. If I remember correctly, in the movie, his Daredevil nunchucks were disguised as his Daredevil walking stick. This has a little bit less of a wash than these other two, but I think it's really cool that we get 2 different nunchucks. You get the longer string and the shorter string right over here. This is the first time I've actually ever gotten a Daredevil figure that has that option. I'm getting a close look at these. You can see that we got that Devil logo right over there on all 3 of them, looking pretty cool. Like I said, a little bit less of a black wash on this one, but these right here, looking pretty nice. I like it. Yeah, so these are pretty solid. I dig them. These fit nicely right here into this holster that's on his right hip. So you just take the one with the longer string, put it right in there. And the one with the shorter string fits in there nicely too, so I like that. You hear that? That's the C Train! Oh man, what a terrible movie. But this isn't a bad looking head sculpt. It looks like Ben Affleck. I think they used a very glossy plastic though. You get some nice detailed stitching right there in the back of the head, so I think that looks pretty good. I'm really liking that. You do get a subtle color variation in there, so I think that's pretty cool. Nice ear sculpt over there. Going back to the face, you can see he does have a 5 o'clock shadow. It's kind of inconsistent with the way the skin tone is though. It looks like we get a little bit of a brighter flesh tone and then it just jumps to this tanned look. I think this plastic is very weird though. It is super reflectant, but you know, overall not a bad sculpt and the paint apps are pretty good. Now looking at the figure as a whole, the head does look a bit large in comparison. The proportions are all weird on this. He's got really skinny legs and then a huge upper body over here made with this very pleathery material, which I actually really like. It looks pretty good. It's just too bulky, and it's not totally ToyBiz's fault on this. I think the design choice for having a biker looking Daredevil is just ridiculous. I really don't like it. But I do like how the colors came out on this. Really nice rich red color, and you get some darker reds coming in here. A little plastic piece with the DDs right over there. Nice stitching on this through and through. You get these lines all stitched right there. You have some nicely sculpted plastic hands that has some fake stitching on there. Some nice silver paint. Now the zipper actually works on this, so you can pull this down and whoa, what a weird musculature that is. That is strange. What's with these lines right here? And it's very soft. Look how, whoa, this is kind of weird. And I really like how the belt came out on this. Nice little silver paint apps right there. Some nice attention to detail. I took this apart off screen, but just to show you again, it unhooks right there from this plastic hook. Okay, and then now he's got no belt, and he looks a little bit better. It looks a little fuller over here instead of it being so trimmed in. Get this very narrowed down shape. We get some more nice lines stitched right through here. Looking pretty good on the boots. One thing I will say about this pleather material though, I do like it because it's very durable. I've gotten him, you know, doing that kicking pose and stuff. I haven't gotten any rips or anything like this. So, you know, this is not a Hot Toys figure, but it is a little bit more durable than a Hot Toys figure, I'll tell you that. Again, nice sculpted details right here on the boot. The figure does not have peg holes at the bottom of the feet, but you get some treads right there. And then on the side of the boots, you can see some nice sculpted stitching and all that right there. And you're just looking at the rest of the back of the figure. There, bud. So the articulation is kind of weird on this figure. His head rotates side to side nicely on a swivel, but his head doesn't really stay up when you move it backwards, kind of goes right back into place. Same thing when you move it downwards, so that's a bit irritating. And he has kind of slight neck pivot over here. His shoulders move outward. They do move forward that much though, not forward too much. He does have an armpit joint that moves in and out. There's a bicep swivel in here too. He has double jointed elbows that bend in pretty far, and he has a wrist swivel but no hinge at the wrist. He has a waist joint that rotates side to side. You also get a waist crunch here, so it could bend forward that much, kind of goes back into place, and it can move back a little bit too. He does have hip joints that move out that far. He can kick forward a reasonable amount and doesn't really move backwards so much. He has an upper thigh swivel over here, double jointed knees that bend in that much. Then he has no boot rotation or ankle pivot or anything like that, so it stops at the double jointed knee. So this is a 12-inch scale figure, but Daredevil Ben Affleck stands closer to 12.5 inches tall. And here's Daredevil compared to the Marvel Studios Blade figure, which I think is the coolest figure from that line. Thank you, TyStar. But you can see Daredevil stands just a little bit taller than Blade. And here's Daredevil Ben Affleck compared to the Hot Toys Tony Stark figure. Kind of funny, huh? Back in the day when you said Marvel Studios, you would think of this. Now Marvel Studios means a completely different thing. Then here's our 12-inch Daredevil Ben Affleck compared to the 6-inch Daredevil Ben Affleck over here in the 12-inch Icons comic version of Daredevil. And then here he is next to the Marvel Legends Big Time Letdown Spider-Man. Again, big thanks Brian and Amanda. I really appreciate it. I love to hate Daredevil Ben Affleck. And I have to also mention that I think this Daredevil movie is actually responsible for the Marvel Cinematic Universe that we have today. Just hear me out for a second, okay? So Foggy Nelson was played by Jon Favreau. Mark Steven Johnson, who I think was an absolute terrible director. Jon Favreau learned how to not make a crappy movie, and that I think is why Iron Man did so well, or part of the reason why Iron Man did so well. And without Iron Man doing well, we wouldn't have gotten any of the movies that came afterwards. So anyway, that's my review, guys. Let me know what you think about my whole little theory right there. Hit the like button if you like the video. Hit the subscribe button right over there. Check out my last video over here, my last Daredevil figure review over there, and go to marvelousnews.com for a photo gallery of images from this review. I'll catch you guys later. Justice.